I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming again.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I uploaded a video today and I'm getting positive response.
Okay, that's great. That's
Yeah,
really great. I can't wait to hear the feedback.
yeah. We'll know in 1 or 2 days what it is going to be.
Okay. Also, I forgot to ask you if you can share the link so I can start. I can subscribe on YouTube on your channel, so I can also get notifications
Yeah, I will send
when
you
you.
the link.
Okay, great. That's a pretty good view over there.
I changed the background.
Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah.
What time is it?
Now it's 6:45 p.m. here in India.
Okay, it's late.
Yeah, yeah.
How is uh, um, how is that issue with the oxygen going so far?
Yeah, the people are trying. The government is trying to get some oxygen from the developed countries like your
Yeah,
country, US, and
right.
from some some other countries, and they are helping. Now they're trying to overcome. Now it's the second wave here, so the number is very big. People are getting
Okay.
affected very easily and very fastly.
Yeah.
So I'm saving. I'm trying to be fast. In my building, there are two apartment people got affected. I'm in between now.
Okay.
So I shared the link, my link,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is
Look.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. I got it. I just subscribed. I can see it. Yes, I see it. Yeah, I can see it. I was able to see it. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So today you are going to tell about
So today's topic, so I was able to pull up this lab. There is a lab, and this was a workshop that was done by AWS, and it has to do with the building a serverless web app. It's a theme park project, but it's pretty long. It takes about the workshop took about 3 days to complete, but
okay.
I can be able to cover the front end and the back end of it, just to show people how it feels, how to work with these services. Like I said, it includes DynamoDB for the back end database, Lambda, Lambda and Lambda functions to trigger the back end, and for the front end, it uses API gateway.
Okay.
And we use CloudWatch for monitoring. And then it launches the EC2 instance for the environment, because I gotta use the Cloud9 IDA. So I create a Cloud9 IDA which uses a EC2 instance, and I'll show them when it's launched. And then it uses AWS Amplify for to build and to deploy, and code commit to, and which is connected to code commit, and we use Git, where our code for the web application is somewhere on GitHub, and it's in somewhere on the repository. There is a repository. We have to pull the code from there, and then bring it into our environment we're gonna work in.
So what this project name is?
The project, it's called Theme Park. It's called Innovator Island. That's the name of the park. Innovator
Okay.
Island. We're going to build an Innovator Island, and it's going to be an application. Yeah.
Okay.
And they should be able to get a clear picture as far as we go on. It's pretty very simple. It was very detailed. It has the steps on how to do it, and even if we don't finish, uh, it's public. If it's even on YouTube, they can go on if they want to try it themselves after this. And yeah,
Okay, then let's start.
okay. Yeah, when you're ready, just let me know, and then we can start.
I'm ready. You can share your
You're
screen.
okay.
Yeah.
I first have to allow. Okay. I have to have some. I need to allow Skype in
You
order
have
for me
a
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
right bottom you have a share screen option.
Right. Yeah, I see that. It's just on my Mac. I have like preferences. I have to first. You can see it now.
I can see it.
Yeah. I have this. I have this. I have you on the left here. Can you see it? I have a split screen.
I can see my personal meeting ID.
Which one? Oh, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Let me go
PMI.
back. Let me. Screen window.
I think you're using Zoom.
Hold on. I'm trying to get my browser to share.
Can we do it on Zoom?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we can do it on Zoom.
If it is easy
No
for you.
problem. But I think
It's
it
time.
shouldn't be a problem. Let me retry it again.
Okay.
Should be able to. It's allowed here. some reason it's not allowing me to share the browser.
Maybe the setting that you have to change in order to share.
Share. Yeah, we can try Zoom and see.
Yeah, I have installed Zoom also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is Skype.
Yeah.
That's
Tell
the
me
window.
your Zoom ID.
You want my Zoom ID?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, my Zoom is limited to 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's limited to 40 minutes. I think we can be able to work it around in about 40 minutes.
Okay, in 40 minutes you can.
Yeah, we can be able to work with that.
Okay,
So
then.
let me give you my Zoom. Let me get the account here. So my personal ID is 761-885-8063.
I can see your screen, ma'am.
You can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Oh, okay. If you can see it, then I think we're okay.
Yeah, I can
Hold on.
see it.
Okay, you can see that.
Yeah, I can
So
see myself.
this is my browser. You can see my browser, right?
Yeah, I can see our video link, YouTube link, and on right
Okay,
side.
yeah. Right, yeah. So I already shared it. So this is me trying to subscribe to your channel, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Click
so
on the bell icon so that you will get a notification, new video notification.
Okay. All right. Okay, so now for today's topic, let me go back a little bit about this one. So this is the application we're going to be launching. On the left here, as you can see, build a serverless web app for a theme park. It was done on one of the workshops for building a serverless web application. And so the agenda is we're gonna create the workshop environment, and then we're gonna do the modules and services we are going to use. Then there is some coding, but that code was already built. It's in the repository somewhere on GitHub. So, like I said, this thing takes 3 days and about 90 minutes each, but we're gonna try to just do the front end and the back end. It won't take us too long, and it's gonna be pretty detailed, so it won't be hard for us to understand. Yeah, I'm gonna use my own personal account, and most of the resources are within a free tier. So I'm going to incur a little bit of a cost, but it's not too much because I have a free tier account. Because AWS gives you a free tier. When you sign up, it gives you about a free tier of about up to a year, where you have like some of the services are free. And as usual, you have to make sure you delete these resources so you don't incur charges. Yeah. So the prerequisites of the workshop are these. Of course, you can't complete it on the tablet. It's compatible with Chrome and Firefox. Firefox. So I'm not using Safari. That's why I've opened it in Firefox. And then you have to be familiar with the AWS console. And these are the AWS services we're going to be using. For the developer tools, we're going to use AWS Amplify, AWS Code Commit, AWS Cloud9. And also remember, as a solutions architect, it's always good for you to know a few of these things, especially on the developer standpoint of view, but it's not necessary that you have to know all of this, because you're a solutions architect and you're dealing with giving customers the right information about a well-structured framework. But you having a hands-on experience helps you to have a better feel of how these things work together. So we have our back-end services, AWS Lambda, Amazon API Gateway, Amazon S3 Bucket. We have Amazon Event Bridge. We won't be touching that in this the part I'm going to do. The part I'm going to do, we're going to be touching on AWS Amplify, AWS Code Commit, and AWS Cloud9 for our developer tools. And then we're going to be touching on AWS Lambda, Amazon API Gateway, Amazon S3, DynamoDB, Amazon SNS topics. So Amazon Event Bridge, Amazon IT Core, IoT Core, and Amazon Kinesis Data Stream, Firehose, and Amazon QuickSight. We're not going to touch these. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use AWS Cloud9 as our IDA environment to build it. And then this is going to be our application, Innovator Island, and it's going to be serverless. So on the front end, we're going to set up the app, we're going to deploy the front end and the back end application. That's what we're going to do. So when we're deploying the front end application, we're going to have AWS Amplify, AWS Code Commit, and AWS Cloud9. And then the back end, of course, is going to be AWS Cloud9. But these are for development, guys. These are for development. Yeah, without wasting too much time. This is all, it's going to make sense once we start on this. So, like I said, I have two browsers open. I split my screen. So you can be able to work on the right and then view our procedures on the left. So introduction is pretty, what we're going to do is here. This section explains the scenario, the overall application structure, and the expected cost if you are running this workshop in your own AWS account. So we're going to be able to open up. First, I'm going to log in as a root user, because I need to get my I need to get my account name on this. Like you see how it's asking me for the account number. That means I'm going to log in. I'm not going to log in as a root user. So first, I'm going to switch to root as a user, and then I'm going to log in, get the account ID. It's always good to follow AWS IAM and access management best practices. So this is what I do. I don't use my root account to log in when I'm working on something. And then I use MFA as my authenticator tool, and I have it on my phone. It sends me a code every 30 seconds in order to get into my account. So there are a few things I'm going to show you. Like as you can see, this is my environment. This is the AWS console, and how you know you are a root account, if you come on the very top here, as you see, this is my account, and I'm gonna need that, so I'm gonna copy it. After copying it, how you know like you're a root user here on top, I don't have the @ sign, it just has the name. So you see the difference when I log into the account. And then also if I go to, let me first show you here. If I go to IAM and access management, you're going to see I created users. I have users here. So I have a developer. This one here, I need to delete it. It's not necessary. So I have a developer account I created, and I have a user in there called Edgar. So when I want to add if I want to add a user to work, I add them here, and as a developer, and it depends. So I create users and roles, and then I give them access based on what services they need, and so on. I can add users here, and this user Edgar, he has permissions as an administrator. He has permissions as an administrator, but he's not a root user. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I don't use my root account to log in because it's not really, they always emphasize you to not use your root account. And then if I go to billing, you're going to see the services and how we incur charges based on the services. As you can see here, I used Kinesis Firehose. I worked on this application about a week ago. As you can see, it charged me this much, but I was deleting my resources. I wasn't leaving them running. I used AWS Amplify. I was within the free tier. It didn't charge me. API Gateway, I used it as well. I was within a 3 tier. It didn't charge me. CloudWatch, it didn't charge me, and other services. And as you can see, I've been doing pretty good for the past month. I only incurred $1.64 from last month, and I always use these services to create resources, and then I delete them. And then, as you can see, this month I've only used 53 cents, and my forecasted billing for next month is $1.29 based on my usage from the previous few days. And as you can see, this is the usage. Amazon Simple Storage Service, 41% was consumed. That was because of that application, AWS Code Commit, 20% was consumed. Amazon Simple Storage Service, 7.49% was consumed in Amazon S3. And then Amazon CloudWatch, this is 5 gigabytes of log data that I used. And then I have Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. I have 30 gigabytes of Amazon Elastic Block Storage. That's free. I use 3.78%, as you can see. And like I said, I'm using my free tier account. You can set up one for trial purposes if you want, and if you're starting with this. After showing you this, we already copied let me just verify. I copied it. I copied my account name. I'm gonna log out. I'm going to log out. I'm going to log back in. But this time I'm going to log in, not as a root user, but another administrator who has this is the administrator. Use my fingerprint. I have a Mac, so I have then I have to still enable MFA authenticator for security purposes. Now I'm in. So as you can see, there are things I cannot access. As you can see on top here, I'm logged in at Edgar at and the account number. So that means I'm not a root user logged in. There is always a @ sign if you're not logged in as root. And if I can come here and click on billing, you see, permissions denied. You need permissions to access billing. That means this user here doesn't have the right to access billing. The root user has the right to do that. So he doesn't have that right. It's limited. So you can access as it goes. This user here again is a developer. He has developer rights. So he has, if I go here and I click on this user, administrator access. He has the permissions and policies. This policy here he has that I attached to him. It has administrator access. That means he can come in here, do stuff like, read and write as a developer. Okay. Our services we're going to use, this is the AWS console. We have for the front end web application, you have AWS Amplify. We're going to go in detail about that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go here. If you can see my screen like that, I'm going to set up, deploy the application. So introduction, as you can go, I opened up my AWS account. Overview, welcome to the theme park island. Application front end, we're going to start with the front end and then we're going to do the back end. It has a diagram here. It shows you how it works. This is the AWS cloud. This is the SNS topic. This is the application we're going to run. And this is API gateway to connect and the API endpoint to connect to our front end and the back end. And S3 bucket, and then you have a Lambda in the middle here. Lambda is used, the function and the code is there, and then it's triggered. Some of the code is triggered to communicate to the back end. As you go on, you should be able to see it in detail, and then you have DynamoDB, of course. So let me go ahead and start with the setup. Yeah. This section explains how to use or create an AWS account for the workshop, which AWS regions you can use, and how to set up AWS Cloud Now IDE used to complete this module. So with this application, you have you can only use it for specific regions. So they should be able to show you. This shows you how to set up an AWS account, but going to bypass that. Let's assume that you already know how to create AWS account. These are the regions that you can deploy this application in. US West, Oregon, US East, Ohio, US East 1, North Virginia, up, Southeast, -2, Sydney, Australia, EU Central 1, Frankfurt, Germany, EU West 1, Dublin. Those are the AWS region. We're going to start. As you can see, we're going to start step by step. We're going to go to our console and then we're going to go look for cloud 9. So I'm going to be doing it here on the left. We're going to look here. We're going to go to services, cloud 9. We're going to look for cloud 9. So as you can see, this is your console. And if you're having a hard time looking for it here, you can always type it in here, cloud 9. Once you type cloud 9, should be able to bring you cloud 9. So this is cloud 9. You look for it. So we're going to go here. The console looks like this. It tells us we're going to create an environment. So we're going to create an environment, and these are the steps for creating an environment, as you can see here. And then when you hit create environment, we're going to name it theme park. As you can see here on the left, we're going to name it theme park environment. Theme park environment. And then we can give it a description. We can say this is our innovator island web app. And then we're going to click next, as you can see here. It tells us to click next. When we come here, there are a couple of things you can do. Like I said, it launches a couple of things in the background, and those are one of those things. It creates an EC2 instance. You can create a new EC2 instance directly, or you can launch it with no egress, via Systems Manager, or you can create and run in a remote server SSH connection. Those are the types of environment you can create. We're going to pick it as instance type T2 micro, as it tells us. EC2, it has 2 gigabytes of RAM, 2 vPCU. We're going to pick a platform, and that platform, we're going to leave it to default, as you can see, Amazon Linux 2. It's always recommended. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to scroll down here. It tells us cost saving setting. Here it tells us to choose a predetermined amount of time to auto hibernate your environment and prevent unnecessary charges. We recommend a hibernation setting for half an hour for inactivity to maximize setting. So you look at this option here. It tells us that if we choose to pick 30 minutes, after 30 minutes of inactivity, we're going to our environment, the instance is going to go in hibernation, so it doesn't incur charges. That's really great. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to click next. It's going to bring us to our overview. We're going to review the review page, theme park environment. This is our Innovator Island web app. Environment type EC2, instance type T2 micro, platform Amazon Linux, create, saving setting after 30 minutes. It's going to hibernate. And there is this one here, tells you the best practices. So it's always good to explore and stuff. And if you have time and stuff, you always want to try out these. It tells you to turn on AWS Cloud Trail in your AWS account to track activity in your environment. So, for example, if you have developers working in your environment and they have access and stuff, you can set up Cloud Trail, and you should be able to monitor and track activity in your environment. Who did this, which and who did this. You should be able to know if you enable Cloud Trail. So I'm gonna continue. As you go, I'm gonna scroll on the left. I think it was telling us that. Next, and then we're gonna go ahead and create the environment. I'm gonna click create. It's going to take us a few minutes. It's loading. We are creating your AWS Cloud9 environment. This can take a few minutes. Yeah, so like I said, in the background, it's creating an EC2 instance for us. And I should be able to show you that here in a few minutes. It's creating. It's taking a minute. Let me go here on the left and look at this. So once it's ready, your IDE will open a welcome screen. Yeah, we'll be able to see that. Below that, you should see a terminal prompt. So we're gonna see a terminal. Below that, close the welcome tab and drag up the terminal window to give yourself a more space to work in. So we should be able to do that. We should be able, yeah. So as you can see, my environment is being created here. Like I was saying here in step 7, when it's ready, it's gonna give us this. It's telling us the environment is ready here below. So it's telling us to close the welcome page. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it. I have all of this space. So this space here is going to be my working space. I'm gonna try to scroll here below so you can see the terminal. As you can see, this is our environment. Edgar, semicolon, / environment. That's our environment. That's my working environment. On the left here, it shows you theme park -- environment. There is a readme. You can click on that. It shows you, hey there, welcome to AWS Cloud9. To get started, it's showing you that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah. So we're done with this. The environment is ready. Now it's telling us you can run AWS CLI commands in here, just like you would on your local computer. Remember, for this workshop, to run all commands within the Cloud9 terminal window instead of your local computer. So this workshop, we're going to be able to run everything in this environment instead of using our local computer or the terminal on our local computer. There are a couple of reasons for that. You'll see there are a couple of environment variables we have to put into the environment in order to communicate back and forth. So keep your AWS Cloud9 IDE open in your browser tab throughout this workshop. So you have to keep it open. If you are to close it, there are some things you have to do in order to gain communication back to those services, because some of those files need to communicate. Verify that your user is logged in by running the command AWS STS get-caller-identity. So we're going to run this command. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy, as you see, copy to clipboard, and then I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to paste the command here and hit enter. So as you can see, it shows my account, it shows the user ID, and then it shows my ARN. So as you can see here, it's indicating, yeah, it's showing me the same output on the left. Show that yeah. So check the current AWS region to make sure you are running the workshop in a supported region. So we're going to run all this command here. I'm going to copy it to verify if we are in the right region that's supported, as you can see. So I'm just gonna hit Command V on my computer. It runs the command. Yeah, you didn't see that because I hit Command V. So as you can see here, it's telling us AWS underscore region is equal to, I have allergies, they're killing me, it's the season. So it's telling you, Carl, this link here, HTTP, it has this IP address, and it's telling you to look up this, to look up the region, to check if this is a supported region. These are below. Supported AWS regions is equal to US West 2, US East 1, US East 2. Like I said earlier, like in the guide, those are the regions you have to be in the supported region. Like below, now it shows me, yes, you are in the supported region. US-East 1 is a supported region. Let's proceed. So, as you can see, yeah, make sure the response confirms your region is supported. Yes, it was supported on the left, as you can see. Now, the next step, that's what we're going to do. We're going to cloning the GitHub repository. We have to clone the GitHub repository on here. So how are we going to do that? We're going to run this command. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd into the environment. So this is our environment already, but we're just gonna make sure we are into it. And then after we cd in, we're gonna say git clone https github.com aws-serverless AWS serverless workshop innovator island theme park backend. So like I said, we're going to copy this. Paste it in here. As you can see, what I was explaining, we cd into environment, and we were in the environment, of course, so we did git clone. Git clone went ahead and cloned this repository. It cloned it, theme park backend, and it pulled up all this repository. And it brought it, as you can see here on the left tab. This wasn't here. So as you can see, theme park backend has been cloned. We've cloned it from GitHub. The repository is somewhere. And then it pulled up all these files you see on the left that we're going to be used to work with this. Let's proceed. Again, like here within the Cloud9 file browser on the left hand side, you can see the backend files have been downloaded. Exactly. So, like I was saying, if you go here, all these files have been downloaded. We're going to be using for the backend. Next, we're going to install JQ to provide formatting for JSON in the console. So we're going to copy this command, and then we're going to install JQ. So I go back in my environment. I'm going to copy that command. It's going to see it loads plugins. It installs JQ for us. Recap. Use a unique AWS provided or personal development AWS account. Yeah. Use the same region you selected when deploying AWS Cloud9 for entirety for this workshop. Keep your AWS Cloud now in IDE open in the tab. So yeah, we're done with this. So we're gonna go on the next step. In the next module, we'll be starting building the initial application. So we went to the repository that was located in GitHub. We pulled up a repository. We ran the commands we ran, we cloned it, and we have our files here on the left. So now we're going to start building the initial application. So I'm gonna hit next, deploy the application. This section explains the back-end and front-end structure. You deploy the front-end application, then the back-end resources. Finally, you communicate the two and redeploy. So we're going to we're going to deploy the front-end application, and then we're going to deploy the back-end, and then finally we're going to connect the two. So we're going to connect the two using some endpoints. Should be able to see. Overview, as you can see, shows you. So if you click here, like I said, this repository is somewhere on GitHub. So that's the repository, AWS serverless work. That's the repository we ran. So those are all the files if you want to view them for the theme park Innovator Island. That's the repository. Going back, let's proceed. Now we're going to start with our front end. So how the front end works, you will create a code repository in AWS Code Commit. You will download the Xing front end code into your Cloud9 and push the code to this repository. You will configure AWS console to connect to your repository and publish the web application. After this section, you'll be able to see the published web app on both your PC and your mobile device by visiting the published URL. So we're going to deploy our front end. How we do that, it's going to show us. So we're going to go back to our AWS Management Console, click on AWS Code Commit. We're going to search it, and then we're going to create a repository. This repository, we're going to create theme park front end. That's where we're going to run our front end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here. Okay. This one had logged in. I'm going to go here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for code commit. So like I said, you can search this. If you want to, you can search code commit for simple, but it's other developer tools. So I'm going to right click. It opens a new tab. So I keep the other one open. So when I open a new tab, as you can see, my environment, my theme park environment is still open. I have it open. I opened the new one, code commit repository. It's telling me, let me try to click here. Okay. So this is code commit. This is how it looks when you are starting out. You say create repository. So we have to create, make sure again, you are in the right region. You selected for the same, for your selected Cloud9 environment. You have to verify you are in the right region. So my region is North Virginia. Even if I go back here, as you can see, my region is North Virginia, US East 1. Like, when we hit, if I scroll down here, when we selected the environment, US East 1 is a supported region. That's North Virginia, US East 1, North Virginia. Guys, the more you work with AWS, you should be able to recall this by head. Yeah, so we're going to create a repository in our code commit. We're going to name it theme park front end. As you can see, we don't have to give it a description, but you can for your options. I know since we're running out of time, we won't. As you can see on the left here, it's telling us enable Amazon Cloud Guru Reviewer for Java and Python. Yeah, so they tell you to enable this, but you can also create tags. It's always good to tag your resources. It's good and best practice. So create the repository. So as you can see here on top, our repository successful created. So we have created our repository. So step 2, clone the code base. So once your code commit get Git repository is created, you'll need to pull in the existing files for your front end app from GitHub and sync to your new code commit repository. Go back to your browser tab with Cloud9 running. If you need to relaunch Cloud9 from the AWS Management Console, select Services and then select Cloud9 under Developer Tools. So we're going to go back to our Cloud9 environment. That's why I left it running. We're going to, again, you make sure you are in the same region. Yeah. The AWS Cloud9 environment comes with AWS Managed Temporary Credentials that are associated with your IAM user. You use these credentials with the AWS CLI Credential Helper. Enable the Credential Helper by running the following two commands in the terminal of your Cloud9 environment. So this is git config global credential.helper. We need it to run in our environment to enable the credential helper for the AWS command line interface, since we're running in our in the Cloud9 environment. So I copied this and pasted it. It doesn't bring anything. You just copy and paste it in there. There you can see. Now running the following command to download the front-end code from GitHub into a separate local subdirectory of the back-end instructions and the code. So we're going to run this command. First, it's gonna make directory theme pack backend, and then we're gonna cd into this environment theme pack front end. We're going to cd in it, and then we're gonna download HTTP. We're gonna download this code for the innovator. We're gonna download it into our environment. Remember the one we created in our repository? That's what we're going to do. First, we're gonna make directory. So I can copy these commands. As you can see them, I can copy them individually instead of running them at once. So you can see them as they work. So I'm gonna do Command V and run. The command, I made a directory. As you can see, theme pack front end got created. Then I'm gonna say cd into my front end web application. Command V. I hit enter. I was able to cd into my environment. I created theme pack front end, and then after I cd into that, I'm gonna copy this. I'm going to run that. I run that. Yeah, wget HTTP. So I'm gonna download this. Wget, we get how it doesn't matter. We get wget how you pronounce it. If you run this command, it's going to download that code for the theme pack, and it's located in that. Then we're gonna have to unzip this command here. We're gonna unzip this code. So the code is here. As you can see, we have it on the left, but it's a zip file. So how we unzip it, we're going to get that command. When we hit that command, it went ahead and unzipped that file, as you can see. This is unzip theme pack front end. It went ahead. There is a archive file named theme pack front end .zip. It went ahead and unzipped it. See, creating, inflating, extracting. He unzipped it and he brought us back to our main terminal. Theme pack front end, the one we cd'd into. So within the Cloud9 file browser on the left-hand side, you can see the theme pack front-end files have been downloaded into a separate local directory for the front for the theme park back end. So as you can see here, and this is what we have. We have theme park, the environment we created. We have our theme park back end. Then we created, we made a directory, make directory, theme park front end, and then we downloaded our files, and then we unzip them, as you can see here on the left, and they are under theme park front end. As you can see, front end, theme park front end here. When I hit it, that's what it is. Yeah. So now our next step, push the downloaded code to populate your recently created code commit repository. So we're gonna run this command to push the downloaded code to populate your recently created code commit repository. Remember, we created the repository in code commit. So we're gonna cd into theme park front end, the region, then we're gonna be able to push. You're gonna do git push dash set upstream http git code commit AWS region. We're gonna push it to the code we downloaded here in our environment. We're gonna push it to our code commit repository. So I'm gonna do command V. It's pushing. It pushed it to our git push dash set upstream. It pushed it to our code commit repository. And as you can see on the left, we have the same thing. Branch main set up to track remote branch main from HTTP git code commit. Yeah. Now deploy the site with the AWS Amplify console. So here, let me go ahead and show you here. So if we go back on our code commit, remember we created it, theme park info. Repositories. You hit there, you see we have our repository. This repository here, it has all this. You see all this? It was in our repository. When we did git push, it pushed our code to the repository. And yeah, so guys, if you learn GitHub and GitHub, there are some tutorials that can teach you about Git and GitHub, working with them, how you can use any of the the code editors, and then you can use Git to push your code. If, for example, you're working on the local repository, you're working on the local environment, you can push it to your account in the GitHub bucket somewhere. So next step, deploy the site with the AWS Amplify. That's the next step. Next, you will use AWS Amplify console to deploy front-end website we've just committed to the code commit Git repository. The Amplify code takes care of the work of setting up a place to store your static web application code and provides a number of helpful capabilities to simplify both the life cycle of that application as well as enable the best practices. So this is our step. We're going to launch AWS Amplify. Scroll down to get started, then choose get. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to, again, we can search for it. So I'm going to go ahead and I have it here in my favorites. Open a new tab. When I open a new tab, as you can see. Let's finish here. So guys, AWS Amplify, there is a step here. I think I had this. I never deleted this from the previous, but I'm gonna explain to you how this happened. This is our application. So we launched, you launch AWS Amplify. When you are into the Amplify environment to get started, you always pick AWS code commit and continue. That's what we did. We did that. And you continue code commit and continue. We did theme pack front end. We made sure our repository was main. Then we configure, build, setup. Then on page 6, review page, verify that the settings save and deploy. So I didn't show you how this thing got deployed, but in AWS Amplify, it was running. So theme pack front end, when we created it, it was running, and it went ahead and provisioned, built, deployed, and verified our code is running, and that brings us to our application. So our application was set up in that way. When we ran this, you see how we ran, we unzipped, we said code commit repository, we deployed all of this. Yeah. So when we deployed all of this, AWS Amplify was able to do this. Well, we had to create it. This one here, I think I'd left it running, but when you are getting started for the first time, you say get started, and then you always pick AWS code commit and continue. It creates the environment, as you can see, front end, theme pack front end. And that's the cycle. It provisions, it builds, it deploys, and verifies the application. So this is our application. This is the URL. You can see our application. So if I right click here and open a new tab, this is our application. As you can see, our application is running here on the left. This is all something that was set up on my previous, but this one here shouldn't be here. But this is our application, as you can see. It's blank. It doesn't have anything in it. But you can scroll. This is our Innovator Island, guys. Let me go back to our environment. As you can see, it was deployed. Oh, there you go. That's our application. Even the AI shows you. You can scroll. You can view it in your console as you prefer. I split my screen, but I would love to show you how to do that. But my screen is split up, so I can show you these steps. But if you go like here on the left, you always have developer tools. Here, when you go web developer, you have web developer tools here, and you can choose your environment. You can go in here and I'm trying to, if this was on the left, you should be able to use developer tools to change environment. If you want like cell phone and stuff, you should be able to do that. Yeah, that's the button for the developer tools as I showed you here. Okay. So now that's our front end application. Now we're going to go ahead and work on our back. So we finished doing our front end. Now we're going to work on our back end, how it works. The front end needs to show details of rides and attractions through the park to be used to our park guests. Once you have built the back end, after this module, our guests will be able to see much more useful information in the application. So our guests will be able to see more information after we build the back end. So with the back end, we're going to have Amazon API Gateway to connect to our back end. There's going to be a Lambda function. It's going to be triggered by within AWS CloudWatch. It's going to be triggered with the SNS topic. And then DynamoDB as our application database. We're going to create tables in there for our backend. We're going to create DynamoDB tables, a Lambda function, and an API gateway that creates a HTTP endpoint for the front end to query. This invokes the Lambda function to return a list of rides and attraction. You see that. Once we have built the back-end resources needed, you will update the front-end application configuration to query the API gateway endpoint. So once we finish building the back-end, we're going to be able to get an endpoint, a front-end, endpoint for the API gateway. It's going to be an API gateway endpoint to connect to our back-end in order to connect to our front end in order to run these resources. So deploying the backend infrastructure. This is a good time to introduce Sam the squirrel. So Sam is a serverless application module, and it's used to deploy applications faster for automation. So SAM also stands for Serverless Application Module, which is an open source framework that makes it easy to deploy serverless infrastructure. This allows you to specify your application's requirements in code and SAM transforms and expands the syntax, the SAM syntax into cloud formation to deploy your application. So we're going to run SAM templates, and the create, we automate it using CloudFormation. Guys, the SAM templates are going to, we're going to dive deep into this. Again, you have to make sure you are into the same environment in the Cloud9. Then we're going to create a deployment bucket in S3 with a unique name. So we're going to run this code here. It's going to deploy a S3 bucket named theme pack SAM deploys. So since we already, we're going to copy that, and then we're going to run this command in our IDE. So I'm going to hit Command V. Command V. So as you can see, when I hit Command V, it created, well, for me, it created two, but it is, yeah, you should be able to see this on the left here. When you hit Command D, it's going to S3 deploy bucket, theme pack, SAM deploys, echo S3 bucket. Gonna echo the S3 bucket and it lists it here. So when you run that command, it's going to echo. Afterwards, you're gonna create and deploy S3-deploy bucket theme pack S3-deploys. Then you're gonna echo this bucket, echo the bucket you deployed. Here it shows theme pack, some deploys. So it created a bucket in the S3 bucket. Yeah. So we're gonna go in the terminal, run the following command to create a S3 bucket. So here we're going to create a S3 bucket itself in the directory. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna say AWS S3 make bucket S3 : / S3 - deploy bucket. We're gonna copy this command, and then this is gonna make a bucket for us. Command V. My idea is slow, but I have to give it a minute. As you can see, created the bucket. It created the bucket. This has now created the S3 deployment bucket. Now it's telling me to change directory. I'm gonna change directory into theme pack backend app deploy -rights controller. So I'm gonna copy this command. I'm gonna hit Command V to my environment is slow. So as you can see, I seed it into this environment theme pack backend -app1 deployed /right controller. So I'm gonna run these templates. So using some CLI to deploy the first part of the infrastructure by running the following commands. So we're gonna use some templates, some to deploy this. So I'm gonna copy the first one. I'm gonna say copy. I'm gonna come back here and hit Command V. To pack, so some is going to package. So I'm gonna hit enter. See, some went ahead and ran the command, some CLI update available 1.9.0. Yeah, well, like you can see, successfully packaged artifacts and wrote output template to file package.yaml. He uploaded this and he packaged it. So now we're going to deploy the template. Command V. I'm gonna hit enter. As you can see, it's deploying with the following values, waiting for change set to be created. So it's deploying. Some is doing this, it's a serverless application module. You can create some templates and ease your deployments and automation. Now it's telling me I'm gonna seed into this environment after this is created. See, cloud formation events for change set on the left here. So it went into cloud formation and it's creating all of this for us. DynamoDB tables, SNS topic, IAM role that can be consumed for the update write role, database table, app configuration, Lambda role. All of this is being deployed in the background using the SAM template. Now, still running, still waiting. Still deploying the template package.yaml. Okay, so as you can see here, it says successfully created / updated stack theme pack writes times. Now we're going to change directory into theme pack backend -1 app deploy SAM template. Command V. I'm going to change directory. I did. Then we're going to run use SAM CLI to deploy the second part of the infrastructure by running the following command. So we did this before, but this time we're gonna deploy the second part of the structure. So we're gonna do SAM build command V enter. SAM is building. Then we're gonna SAM package. Hit enter. That was successful. Then we're gonna deploy. Yeah, this will take a few minutes to deploy. You can see the deployment progress in the console. Wait until you see the successful created stack. Sam has now used CloudFormation to deploy a stack of backend resources, which will be used for the rest of the workshop. So this Sam template created all of this for us. It created 2 Lambda functions, 3 S3 buckets, a DynamoDB table, a Cognito user pool, a AWS IoT thing, and several IAM roles and policies to be used. Successful created / updated stack theme park backend. So now our next step, set a number of environment variables to represent the custom names of resources deployed in your account. This command uses the AWS CLI to retrieve the CloudFormation resources names and then construct the environments using Linux string manipulation codes grep and cat. This makes it easier to type deployment commands in later modules. So we're going to set a number of environment variables to make it easier for us to type a couple of these commands. Like some of these, like, DDB underscore table is equal to AWS CloudFormation describe stack dash resource dash stack name echo F final bucket echo processing bucket. So basically, we're creating final bucket is equal to AWS CloudFormation. So these names, these environments, we attach them to some of these CloudFormation templates in order to be able to query these templates for easy calling of these resources. So Command V. I ran a couple. So when I ran them and look, it set all these environment variables as we had said. In the terminal, now looks like this. Echo back all the set environments. So it echoes back all these set environments. So he echoed final bucket, he echoed processing bucket, he echoed upload bucket, he echoed DynamoDB table. Sam has now used CloudFormation to deploy a stack of backend resources, which will be used for the rest of the workshop. 2 Lambda functions, 3 S3 buckets, DynamoDB table, Cognito user pool, AWS IoT thing, and a number of IAM roles and policies. So it tells us the next step is to populate the DynamoDB table. The DynamoDB table is a key value and document database, which we will use to store information about all the rides and attractions to the park. The SAM template created a DynamoDB table for the application. Next, you will fill the DynamoDB table with the data about the rides and attractions in the park. You run the local node script in this repo to upload the data to DynamoDB table. So in the next step, we're going to cd into the local.app, cd into this environment, Command V. Then after we cd in, we're going to install npm. We are in. So we're gonna say npm install command V. Yeah, remember I'm saying command V because to paste, I'm on a Mac. So npm install. It went ahead and I see npm warning, local.app, no description, no repository. 15 packages were added. Now run the import script. So we're gonna run this command node./import data.js to the AWS region DynamoDB_table. So this command here is gonna import this data. So hit command V. It tells us success. Imported the data. Now test the configuration step by step. So we're going to test our configuration step by step. Whatever we have just done, we're gonna test the configuration. Confirm the data is now in the DynamoDB table by running the following command. We're going to run this command to confirm that we have the data is in the DynamoDB table. Command V. Like I said, you see, partition keys, image, we have some data in there. All of these have been created for us using the SAM template, through CloudFormation. This will return all the data in the DynamoDB table together with the scan count, which is the total number of items in the table. So scan count 27, that's the total number of items in the table. So next, call the API gateway endpoint URL, which SAM has created. First, run the following command in the console to show the endpoint URL. So we're gonna run this to give us our URL, the endpoint URL. So that URL right there, it's called init state, initialization state. So note the command output for the init state API. This is your API gateway endpoint. You need this in the later chapter. Remember we said we need a gateway endpoint to connect to our front end. This is the URL we need. So the best way is to copy this and save it somewhere. Go ahead and highlight this and copy. I can come here, open new file, can paste my URL there. So I know it's there. If I want to save it, I can hit Command S. It tells me, do you want to save this? I say yes. Title, there's no title, so I can say my notepad. Well, I'll just leave it there like that. You can name it what you want. Like I said, before you save, you can rename it, or you can go on file and try to rename it. it should be here. My notepad, If you choose to rename it, you can come here and name it what you want, like, notepad. And, that will be the name of it. Your URL. Your endpoint URL is saved there. Now, this opens another browser tab and returns all of the write and attraction data from the DynamoDB table by the API gateway and Lambda. You have now created an API gateway that your front-end application can use to populate the map without points of interest. So this URL, if I open mine, a new tab here, and I paste, it's going to return a lot of variables. That means it's working. That's our endpoint. We're going to connect to it, as you can see. Next. I'm going to go next. Update the front end. So now we're going to update the front end. In this section, you will add the API endpoint you have created to the front end point configuration. This allows the front end application to get the list of rights and attractions via the API gateway URL, which pulls the information from the DynamoDB. After the update, you will commit the changes to the Git repository, which will automatically redeploy and republish the application. So we're going to update our configuration file. So we're going to go to our Cloud9 terminal. In the left directory panel, we're going to navigate to ThemePack front end /src. We're going to locate config.js. Double click to open it. And then this file contains a JSON configuration for the front end. This file is separated in two modules that correspond with the modules in this workshop. Module 1 section at the beginning of the file, update the init state API attribute of the API by pasting the API endpoint URL from the previous section between the two. So what it tells us, we're going to go, I'm going to do it here while you guys are watching. I'm going to go to ThemePack front end. This is it here on the left. I'm going to scroll down to SRC, which I already did. I'm going to locate config.js. So I'm going to double click so it can show in my environment. For some reason, my computer, it's slow because I think I have multiple browsers that are open. If you scroll down here, export constant app config is equal to, you have this code, you have this object here, and then you're going to paste. I had already copied this URL like down below here. I'm going to paste it in between there. There you go. I'm going to paste it in there, init state API. I'm going to paste it, make sure the comma is on there because it's still going. And then I'm going to hit Command S to save it. So I've just saved that in config.js. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to push the code. Since remember we are working in this environment in Cloud9. But in order for this to take effect in our application, we need to push it into our repository in code commit, the repository, the ThemePack front end repository in code commit. So we're going to cd into it. We're going to cd into this file here, ThemePack front end, Command V. After cding into there, we're going to first do git commit -module1. And then we're going to git push it's going to push it to the resolver side. I'm going to copy them at once and then paste them here. Copy, Command V. First it did git commit, and then it did git push, and it pushed our to AWS git commit US East 1 impact front end. After the commit is completed, go to the amplify and make sure you're not in the correct region. So we're going to go back to our amplify. AWS amplify. Here you go. So our code has been pushed here. Here. In all the app section, theme park front, you are going back to the previous open browser. You may need to search. You will see a new build has automatically started as a result of the new commit. Underlined code. This build will take a few minutes. Once completed, open the published URL. Now you can see the map contains theme park points. So what it's saying here, when we pushed our code, let me make sure we pushed it, guys. So when we pushed our code in Amplify, every time we do that, we push the code, it's gonna provision, build, deploy, and then verify. So we're gonna open our URL again. After I did that, we're gonna try to open it again to see. Git commit, app one. It might take a few minutes. The three files changed. Git pushed it. Let's give it a minute. I'm gonna try to refresh. Let me make sure our code was saved. It's taking a while. Just wanted to make sure. Let me make sure I see Dean's. I'm gonna try to repush it again. Came back front end. One by one. Command V. Enter. Came back front end. Okay. Hit push. Everything is up to date. Yeah, our code is taking a while. Should be able to see new things, new features built here. So in this module, what we just did, in this module, we created a code repository in Cloud9, configured AWS Amplify console to push the web app in this repository. You now have a public URL endpoint for your application. So do you remember the endpoint? We had to change in config. That's what it is. Deploy the backend infrastructure for the theme pack and application. Populate a DynamoDB table containing write and attraction information for the pack. Test the deployment by using the CLI to scan DynamoDB table and use curl to test the API gateway endpoint. Update the front end with this new API endpoint and show the results in the application. Push the code changes in the form of a configuration update to code commit, and so how Amplify console automatically detects the new commit and pushes the changes to the public. So that's the step. That's taking a while to show. HTTPS. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to show you, like we said, it's taking a while to do that, but with what he did, as you see in the command line, everything is up to date. The code was pushed to the repository. Our repository is this one here, where the code is, theme pack, front end. That's where the code was pushed. And then it has to be provisioned, built, deployed, and verified in here. And after it does that, when we open our new URL, it should be able to show us a couple of features here, like a couple of functions we created in the tables. You should be able to see that in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go open up the DynamoDB table, like I said, to show you how these things were created. This lab, basically, you can find it online and you can practice. It's really well guided. You can look at it and see a lot of things. So, but like I said earlier in our lab, I was gonna show you how this is our backend. This was created using some templates. Thimpack backend DynamoDB table. We created DynamoDB tables for us. And as the lab goes on, we connect all these services together to communicate, to create a Lambda function, to communicate with our backend. To do that, then next we're gonna go to S3. Amazon S3 should be able to see the buckets, the deployment bucket that was created. So as you can see, all of these buckets were created using the SAM templates in S3, as we had discussed, to ease the deployment. This guide has this area here where it shows you. Now, our next topic should be chapter 2, right time, real time, right times. So this one here, you connect the back end, you connect a couple of futures, and then we use the Lambda function to trigger all these events in real time, as you can see. So we create a function called Thimpack right times. We choose a role, we pick a role that's gonna consume. We create a trigger, and that's the SNS topic, like I had said, SNS topic to trigger the function once, like, things are uploaded from the bucket and stuff. And then there is a code, we get it from app.js, we put it in it's the Lambda code that gets triggered. And then we add all these environments. These are environments for the DynamoDB table. So IoT underscore data dash endpoint, IoT underscore topic, and DynamoDB table underscore name. All of those, that's for our backend. We configure the environments for the database, we save, and then we do it again. We connect the DynamoDB table with our front end. This is how you're gonna communicate to the IoT, AWS IoT devices, the core devices. Again, in src config.js, we get this URL, and so this is how the backend connects to the API gateway for the IoT devices. We push our code again, and we should be able to see that. So that's the next step. Like I'd said, guys, I was going to show you how the front end works. These next steps, it shows you rides in real time. Basically, it shows you uses DynamoDB table, like I said, to show you, and IoT, Internet of Things, IoT cores, to show you how it works and stuff. But we were able to deploy the application, the front end and the back end application. We were able to do that. And like I said, this, you can find it. You can find it online. It's online. All you have to do is, let me try to find a link you can go to. Oh, well, so if you go on YouTube, they have it here. It's called Serverless Innovator Island Virtual Workshop Series. That's what it's called. AWS Online Tech Talks, build a serverless web app for a theme park, AWS Virtual Workshop. That's what it is. But that was what we were able to do. Again, like I had said, when you do this, you have to make sure you delete your resources, because if you leave your resources running, they consume all of these storage, and storage, compute, it gets consumed as per costs, and if it exceeds your free tier, you're going to be charged. So you want to make sure you add that. So, I need to clear my Castro browser. Let me clear my cache. Empty cache. Still not showing. It was deployed here. Yeah, like I said, guys, this you can find it online, and it has a step-by-step guide on how to do everything. You copy, you commit your code, you push it there, and through AWS Amplify, it will automatically build and deploy it for you, and then you can view the code. You can view it in your URL publicly. So now this you can view it publicly. Like I said, it's in my browser, I can view it publicly. This URL, I can view it publicly. I can share it with a friend if I want to, and it shows all of these steps. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to unshare my screen and return back to Sai.
Yeah. It's amazing, man. Very clear.
Yes, yes. Let me stop sharing. Yeah. So
this is one of the concepts in AWS.
Yeah, say it again.
This is one of the concepts in AWS.
Yeah. So this, like I said, I wanted to show you a feel of how these things work together. Different resources work together, and like you say, we had like the API gateway, right? That connects to the back end and the front end in order. So with the rides and the stuff in real time, those are users logging into the website, visiting the URL. So basically, this application, users can be able to take photos, and then assume they are like there, and then this photo taken, the back end, it goes sent to the back end, and there is a green screen. The application has a green screen. It takes out your, so you have to take a photo. What you have to do as a user, you have to go where there is a green screen. You take a photo on your green screen. So you send it to, as you take it with your on the behind the green screen, the application is going to take that photo and process it, and then bring it back to you, like you are that island.
Okay. Okay.
That's what it does. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what it does basically. But with the time, like I said, it's a 3-day workshop. So we're able to do that, within 1 hour for the front end and the back end, which is like really mainly some of the main points. But there is still a lot of configuration to do. Like it still does other things, like it uses Amazon, it uses uses Amazon Kinesis for to incite for graphs, to show all that data, and then he uses Amazon Kinesis Firehose to stream that data to the users, and then DynamoDB table as the database. Since there are so many users, and DynamoDB table is a key value database that can, and at the same time, it's a document database that can scale as the users grow.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a solutions architect, with you having a familiarizing yourself with this kind of services, it's easy for you to explain to a customer. And like I said, like a web application like that, it's a big application. So when you are working in customer premises and stuff, some of them will have applications that are smaller. They are small applications. Some will be huge, like I said earlier, Netflix and stuff, where you tackle on different services and stuff. But having a deep knowledge of these things, how they work and stuff, makes it easier for you. And also, like when you are taking the exams, hands-on experience helps you a lot when you are taking the exams to understand these concepts, because you can't just pass the exam by just reading theory. Some of these things, the questions, you have to have that lab feel of it to understand how they work.
Okay. So is it possible for me for you and me to share the screen at the same time on Skype?
Share the screen, both sides.
Yeah.
I think so. We can.
Can we check once?
Let me see. No. It's telling me start sharing.
Yeah.
I shared it.
You shared it.
Yeah. Can you see mine?
I can see yours, but can you see mine?
No.
You can't see.
No, I can't see.
I have shared it.
Okay, let me see. Go ahead, share it again.
Okay. I will share it. Wait.
I'm gonna wait because
Yeah, I have shared it.
for some reason. Okay, yeah, I can see you.
You can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
My screen?
Yeah, yes, I can.
Okay. So can you share your at the same time?
Let me try this. Share screen. I just did. Can you see mine?
Yeah, I can see yours.
Okay.
Wait. No, it is completely blank.
It's completely blank.
Yeah, my screen stopped sharing when you did that.
Okay.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, let me.
Just to know that whether the two sharing screens works or not.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So at last, anything about the the front end and the back end and the web application that you said now.
Yeah.
You can stop sharing the screen.
I can stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
At last, do you have anything to say about?
The front end and the back end. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, the lab, it's a 3-day workshop, so it takes longer. But like I was telling you, you see how we had created the front end and the back end. Now we use the API gateway endpoint to connect the front end and the back end, and basically this data gets ingested into the DynamoDB table, like as activity and traffic goes on. This data, if customers take those photos, it triggers functions through using Lambda. We create Lambda triggers, and it triggers these functions to pull, to query the DynamoDB table and get different services that request from the customers.
Okay. So it's awesome, and I'm sure a lot of people who watched this explanation have understood what you said. It is very clear.
Okay.
So at last, can I put this video and audio and clip on my YouTube channel, social media, internet, podcast, website, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so have you seen any videos of mine? I mean, the implementation videos of mine on YouTube. I did like easy to implementation, S3 bucket, and uh, uh, the implementing how you did now.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't, but at the moment I get off right now, I'm going to look at them right now after.
So, what do you think about me doing this kind of content?
I think it's really amazing. It's so great because first of all, it kills idleness in the first place. So for solutions architect like me, it's a good way for you to put yourself out there and what you know and stuff. So like if a recruiter was to come here and look at these instead of interviewing the candidate in person, if they can come and be able, or they get a hold of a video like this for a candidate and is explaining this, I think they should have a better picture of what the candidate can do, and it should be easy for the candidates themselves to get hired on easily without going through the interview process, because there are some candidates that are really qualified, but sometimes interviews scare people. Interviews are very scary depending on the company you are getting into. But here you get a chance to feel at home while you're doing it. At the same time, you're getting interviewed by a person. So your work is out there, which is really great.
Do you believe that it helps me and it is useful for me personally?
How is it? I think, are you asking me how is it useful for you?
Yeah. Do you think that it will be helpful for me in gaining my knowledge and understanding the how it works, how things work? Do you think that?
I think I'm 100% sure you will, because even an expert sometimes, like every individual has a better way of explaining certain things. So you interviewing different candidates and seeing how they do things, creates and it gives you knowledge of different tricks on how to do things faster and easier. Like sometimes, like we do stuff, but the way we browse around the PC, is different from, we all we all knowledgeable and we know how to browse around, but our style is very different. The way we kick the ball is very different. The way we dribble is very different. So that you, as a person who does this on a daily basis, you get to consume all that, and you get a clear understanding, clearly. Like, it really helps a lot on your end. Yeah.
So thanks for being a great person, and a great explaining person, and person who observes things very deeper, and for your contribution for this.
Thank you. And I'm still learning, guys, myself personally, and I'm willing to learn. And like I said, I'm following you right now. I've subscribed to your YouTube channel. I'm going to look into the videos, and you should be able to see some comments on there.
So will you be on my show again, if possible?
On the what?
Will you be on my show again, if possible?
Yeah, no problem. I can be on your show. Anytime I will let you know. If you ask me to come on the show, I'll look at my schedule, and then I'll let you know what time I have open. But if I'm open, yes, definitely, I would love to be on it again.
Yeah. So concepts, your selection or my selection, we will decide whatever works. So I'm okay with anything. I want to learn, and I want to ask questions, and also you can also learn from my questions. I believe that.
Okay. Yeah. And then also, people who are beginners who are watching this, don't get discouraged or anything like that. This was a little bit in depth. There are other resources and stuff that we can start off that are easier, and they are more understandable. So in the future, maybe we should be able to show you how to work with those features, and it should be able to get you engaged more.
So thank you very much, Isaac. Keep going, keep doing what you love, and thanks a lot for your valuable time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Well, have a good night. Have a good night on your end.
Thank you. Yeah. Take care.